Before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for educational purposes only. For legal and financial advice, please seek help from a licensed professional. Thank you. Today's show is also sponsored by IAR Property Solutions. If you're looking to sell, buy, or renovate your property, IAR will be by your side through the merry real estate ride. Welcome to the Humble Hustle Podcast. My name is Antoine Basquiat, and I will be your host for today's episode. I wanted to talk more about your personal journey, and because honestly, I remember the conversation of when you were transitioning from football, doing football, you playing football, being athletic for training for football, and you said, I'm going to go to basketball. I was like, wait, hold on, what? And then, and just so, kind of just talk about like your transition from football to basketball, but also, you could even take a step further back and say, like, how did you even discover athletic training was right for you?
Right. Short and sweet from the football to basketball, football and basketball always been, my favorite sports, you know what I'm saying? But just from an athletic training standpoint, you see a lot in football. It's a collision sport. You know how it is. We played 4 years of collegiate football. It's a collision sport, so you see everything. Like you see traumatic injuries, you see heat, illness injuries. You making sure you maintain weight, lose weight in the off season, get stronger, proper nutrition. Big nowadays, the mental health across all sports. But like specifically in football, like literally, like you see everything. So I knew I wanted to work football initially for X amount of years before jumping to basketball. I just knew basketball was going to give me that more of like, it's 15 to 18 people. So like, I'm going to get that more of like clinician to patient ratio,
Oh, okay.
where I could execute like a lot more things individualized to make sure that they're good for 3 to 4 games a week. So like the skill set that I learned a lot in football and that I learned a lot just overall in the profession of doing the extra certifications and everything, I was able to kind of mold the entire toolbox to like, what does this player actually need? It's helped me get to the point of like, okay, I got 7 ankle sprains. Like I got 7 ankle sprains in football, and like, that's just kind of like how it is at times because it's just such a collision sport. You see a lot of acute injuries. I got about 10 surgical post-surgical guys in football where it's like, okay, like, I'm able to get that experience. Here in basketball, knock on wood, you see a lot of like, yo, we got a back-to-back. So we just had a back-to-back. We played Friday and we played Saturday. Get him ready for Friday. Then you got to turn right around and get him ready for another game that morning. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's more of like, oh, this is the stuff that I learned where it's like maintain recovery, maintain body, like what we call, body homeostasis. What's going to get them ready mentally? Making sure that their muscles recovered properly in a short amount of time. What treatments is good for him that helps him go out there and does what he does on the court within a 24-hour window. You know what I'm saying? So like being able to do that now has been awesome. Aside from collegiate football where you got 125 kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, I personally look at it as like, yo, there was times it was like triage. Like seriously, it was like triage. Like,
I never even thought about it. Yeah. It's a lot of people.
But in the NFL, it's only like 53, 63 people, and you got about 6 to 7 athletic trainers with maybe 2 seasonal interns. So like, there's enough to go around for everybody. But at collegiate level, which I'm gonna be honest, like needs to get like completely better. Like they need to flip the whole script on how things are structured athletic training wise. Like, it just needs to like, it's a lot of kids that obviously as athletic trainers we want to take care of. But it's just they need the manpower, and not just the manpower and the hands for it, they are a realm that needs to start like paying highly because like there's some Power Four schools out here who look for the experience that they look for, but then they'll throw you 40,000, and I'm like, okay, now that is outrageous. But we getting, that's another. I digress because that's something else for another day. That's something else that's getting worked on in the profession and that we're pushing for everybody. But that's kind of the main reason. From doorstep to front lawn delight, IAR will make you right. Come on. Closing smooth, paperwork clean, we're the best you've ever seen.